Ladies and gentlemen, there's a very popular colloquial saying, and I'm sure you've heard it. Agar Miyan Biwi Razi, to kya karega Qazi? But Uttarakhand has turned that ancient wisdom on its head and now wants your Qazi / your Panditji and their permission before you can even think of living in. It's just one of the many mind-boggling moral policing steps that the state's UCC has mandated. Requirements that essentially say, we will do what we can to stop you from living in sin. So you need Panditji ka Ashirwad, you need Mummy Papa ka consent, you also need a registration. That registration can be rejected. If you still insist and fail to register, you can go to jail for 6 months. Is this what the UCC was intended for? Well, on Monday, the Pushkar Singh Dhami government made Uttarakhand the first state in independent India to adopt the Uniform Civil Code. Amongst its many debatable provisions is its rule mandating the registration of live-in couples, even for those who don't live in the state. You could be living in Bangalore, but you could be Uttarakhandi, you still have to register. Today, we've accessed the fine print, and frankly, it's concerning. So you're thinking of moving in with your partner in Uttarakhand? Well, get ready to prove it 4 times over. First, your age. If either partner is under 21, parental consent is must. Second, proof of residence. But there's a catch. Your landlord gets a say before the government issues your registration. Third, your relationship history. You're planning a fresh start? Not so fast. You may need a certificate confirming your past live-in relationships and the fact that they have ended. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just think about it. Do you contact your ex and ask him or her to come with you and get a certificate to prove that you are exes? If you think that was bad and impractical, consider that you have to prove that you are permissible to marriage. Let me explain. Even though you might not have the intention of marrying at the outset, you have to establish whether or not you can marry. And who decides that? A religious or a community leader. Now, for a moment, just think about it. Will any Panditji or Maulvi be okay with you living in and potentially marrying someone from the other religion? Does it make sense? That's not all. This license to live in comes with fines and jail time attached. If you fail to register your live-in relationship within 30 days, the fine you pay is 10,000 rupees, or you could go to jail for 3 months. You ignore a registrar's notice on not registering, the penalty time jumps to 25,000 rupees and 6 months behind bars. If you submit false information about your relationship, that's another 25,000 rupees in fine and 3 months in jail. And it's not just couples. Even landlords who ignore live-in registrations will face a fine of 20,000 rupees. And we are not even getting into the paperwork marathon. You'll need to fill out a 16-page form. 16-page form. Verify your details with an Aadhaar-linked OTP and pay a 500 rupee registration fee and another 500 termination fee if things don't work out. If either partner is under 21, a consent certificate from your parents is mandatory as well. Live-in relationships, ladies and gentlemen, were meant to be about choice. But with these new hurdles, is that choice really yours anymore? And privacy? Well, it just jumped off from the top of the Himalayas. And by the way, that window of choice and privacy is rapidly disappearing. Rajasthan seems to be already following Uttarakhand's path, with the High Court there ordering that live-in relationships must be registered by a government-established authority or tribunal until such time that the union and the state governments legislate on the subject. And with the Union Home Minister Amit Shah telling Parliament that every BJP-ruled state will implement a UCC, your window of choice, your privacy is set to rapidly disappear. My guest this evening, Manu Gaur, is a UCC member from Uttarakhand joining us on the broadcast. Let me quickly introduce our other guests as well before I come to Manu. Lalitha Kumaramangalaml is a former chief of the NCW joining us. Ira Trivedi is an author, a yoga acharya, and Tehseen Poonawalla is in the studio with us, joins us as well. Manuji, thank you very much. We have many questions for you. As you can clearly see that at least I am not a fan of all the UCC mandates over live-in relationships. लेकिन I have some pointed questions. बहस नहीं करेंगे, आपसे मैं one-on-one करूंगी. मुझे पता है आपको one-on-one करना है. तो मैं आपसे बहस नहीं करके मैं आपसे सिर्फ 4-5 सवाल पूछूंगी.
I am really very sorry. मुझे आप के द्वारा मिसकम्युनिकेट किया गया. मैं किसी डिबेट का पार्ट नहीं हूँ. आपको जिस भी क्वेश्चन को पूछना है आप एनी टाइम मेरे से पूछिए और जो आपके 4 क्वेश्चंस जनता के सामने रखे हैं ये सरासर मिसपरसेप्शन है, ये गलत है, निराधार है. मैं इनका खंडन करता हूं. यूसीसी में ऐसी कोई भी चीज नहीं है.
Manu ji, let's make a deal. As Donald Trump says, let's make a deal. You said you will not be part of a debate. I accept that you will not be part of a debate. मैं आपसे 4 या 5 सवाल अलग से पूछूंगी. Then I will go to my guests. So that's my part of the deal. I have 3-4 questions. You are open to answer them. And of course, you will contradict me. That's absolutely fine. इसीलिए तो आपको बुलाया है. If you think I am wrong and my interpretation of the UCC, especially around live-ins, is wrong, आप मेरे को टोक सकते हैं. आप मुझे, you can correct me. But Manu ji, after reading all the, what do I call them, all the rules around live-in, it seems that the Uttarakhand government via the UCC doesn't want live-ins, especially when the couple is an interfaith couple. If that was the entire idea, the government should have just bought a law and said, interfaith couples cannot live in Uttarakhand. आपने तो live-ins को शादी से भी मुश्किल बना दिया है.
देखिए, पहली चीज मैंने आपके ये सारे पॉइंट्स देखे. इंटरफेथ कपल, आपने कहा मौलवी से सर्टिफिकेट लेके आना पड़ेगा, धर्म गुरुओं से सर्टिफिकेट लेके आना पड़ेगा. मेरे ख्याल से एक बार आप यूसीसी रूल्स को, यूसीसी एक्ट को दोबारा से पढ़िए. ऐसा जो आज मैंने भी एक बड़े प्रसिद्ध न्यूज़पेपर में ये आर्टिकल पढ़ा और मुझे भी पढ़ के बहुत हंसी आई, क्योंकि जो कहा जा रहा है ऐसा यूसीसी एक्ट में कुछ भी नहीं है. पहली चीज, मैं इन सारी बातों का खंडन करता हूं.
ठीक है.
यूसीसी एक्ट में जो कहा गया कि कोई यूसीसी का रजिस्ट्रेशन, लिव इन में रजिस्ट्रेशन करने के लिए आएगा तो उसे धर्म गुरुओं से सर्टिफिकेट देना होगा, ऐसा नहीं है. ये गलत है. जो रिलेशनशिप डिग्रीज ऑफ प्रोहिबिटेड रिलेशनशिप में आती हैं, अब या तो आप मेरा एक बार बात सुन लीजिए, आप मेरे से जवाब चाहती हैं तो मेरा क्लैरिफिकेशन सुन लीजिए. जो रिलेशनशिप प्रोहिबिटेड डिग्रीज ऑफ रिलेशनशिप में आती हैं, जिनके मध्य विवाह नहीं हो सकता, जैसे सगे भाई बहन के बीच में शादी नहीं हो सकती, माँ और बेटे के बीच में शादी नहीं हो सकती, बाप और बेटी के बीच में शादी नहीं हो सकती, ऐसे रिलेशनशिप सिर्फ यूसीसी में डिफाइंड नहीं है, ये स्पेशल मैरिज एक्ट में भी डिफाइंड है, जो सदियों से हमारे देश में चलता चला आ रहा है. और मेरे ख्याल से कोई भी सभ्य समाज इस चीज को अलाउ नहीं करता. पहली चीज. दूसरी चीज, जो रिलेशनशिप फिर भी इन सारी प्रोहिबिटेड डिग्रीज में आते हैं और वो आपस में लिव इन में रहना चाह रहे हैं, तो वो जिन समुदायों में ऐसा कस्टम्स हैं, ऐसी परंपराएं हैं जो चली आ रही हैं, जैसे कजन मैरिज होती है, 2 कजन्स के बीच में माँ और बुआ के बच्चों में शादी होती है कुछ समुदाय में, तो उन समुदाय के लिए ये एक्सेप्शन है कि अगर आपके समुदाय में ये परंपराएं हैं और उसका सर्टिफिकेट आप देते हैं कि ये लंबे समय से चली आ रही हैं, तो आपको सहूलियत दी गई है, आपको रोका नहीं गया, आपका लिव इन रजिस्टर होगा. और ऐसे केसेस सारे लिव इन रजिस्ट्रेशन में 1% भी नहीं हो, जिसका आप लोगों ने जिस सहूलियत देने को आपने गलत इंटरप्रिटेशन.
अब मनु जी, ठीक है मनु जी, all of us are going to have a point of view on this, right? Given the fact that it is controversial, I have my point of view, you have your point of view. You are clarifying as a member of the UCC that ये पंडित और मौलवी से परमिशन लेके आना कि इन दोनों की शादी हो भी सकती है अगर करना चाहें, वो बिल्कुल गलत है. That is misinformation. I will take that at face value because you have been a member of the Uttarakhand UCC. You know what you're talking about. अब मुझे एक बात बताइए मनु जी. The UCC is what? The UCC was to ensure that the marriage law, the divorce law, the inheritance law, and the adoption law is the same for all communities. Where was the need for Uttarakhand and the UCC to enter the territory of live-ins?
UCC पर्सनल सिविल मैटर्स के लिए है, नॉट फॉर ओनली मैरिज, डिवोर्स, सक्सेशन, ऑल पर्सनल सिविल मैटर्स. पर्सनल सिविल मैटर में लिव इन भी आता है. अगला सवाल आपका.
ठीक है, ठीक है. तो आप मुझे बताइए कि रजिस्ट्रेशन की क्या जरूरत है, पेरेंटल कंसेंट की क्या जरूरत है, क्योंकि बहुत लोग आर्ग्यू करेंगे और मैं भी आर्ग्यू करूंगी दैट दिस वायलेट्स माय राइट टू प्राइवेसी. कई बच्चे आते हैं माँ बाप से बता के थोड़ी ना कोई लिव इन करता है, वो करना चाहते हैं, दे वांट अ राइट टू प्राइवेसी. व्हाई शुड यू टेल देयर पेरेंट्स? What business does the government have to enter your bedrooms, figure out who you're living with, get it registered and then report to your parents?
तो फिर से मिसपरसेप्शन बनाया जा रहा है कि पेरेंट्स से कंसेंट की जरूरत है. पेरेंट्स से कंसेंट की जरूरत नहीं है. यूसीसी लिव इन एक्ट में कोई भी चीज यूसीसी में ऐसी नहीं है. सिर्फ 18 से 21 साल के बीच में अगर कोई है, क्योंकि एज ऑफ मैरिज 21 इयर्स है लड़कों के लिए, और वो 18 से 21 साल के बीच में हैं और लिव इन में रजिस्टर कर रहे हैं, तो उनके पेरेंट्स को सिर्फ इंफॉर्मेशन भेजी जाती है, उनके कंसेंट नहीं लिया जाता. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन.
नहीं, इंफॉर्मेशन भेजना तो वायलेशन ऑफ प्राइवेसी हुआ ना. मैं नहीं बता, मैं एट 18 आई एम फिट इनफ टू वोट विदाउट टेलिंग माय पेरेंट्स हु आई एम वोटिंग फॉर. But I'm not fit in to live in with a person without letting my parents know who I'm living in with.
तो उसके लिए फिर एज ऑफ मैरिज भी 21 की जगह लड़कों के लिए 18 साल कर देनी चाहिए. उसके लिए फिर लड़के बच्चे जो हैं, जो मेंटेनेंस क्लेम करते हैं अपने पेरेंट्स से, वो मेंटेनेंस 25 साल तक दिया जाता है, वो भी खत्म कर देना चाहिए. दैट यू आर इंडिपेंडेंट एनफ आफ्टर यू हैव बिकम एडल्ट, तो हमें कोई जरूरत नहीं है देने की.
अच्छा, अब आप मुझे बताइए, वो एक बेसिक मुद्दा जो आ रहा है मनु जी, बिफोर आई गो टू माय गेस्ट, एक बेसिक मुद्दा जो आ रहा है कि रजिस्ट्रेशन की जरूरत ही क्या है. द नंबर ऑफ स्टेप्स दैट यू हैव इन्वॉल्व्ड इफ अ कपल वांट्स टू लिव इन उत्तराखंड इज सो मच दैट पीपल विल से छोड़ो, ये तो बेकार का झमेला है, जस्ट लेट इट गो. Where is the need to get people registered if they are living in, even those who live outside the state?
देखिए, पहली चीज तो ये है कि रजिस्ट्रेशन की जरूरत ऐसी है, ये यूसीसी में पहली बार लिव इन को इंट्रोड्यूस करा गया, ऐसा नहीं है. ऑलरेडी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का डीवी एक्ट, डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस एक्ट बना हुआ है, जिसमें ऑलरेडी ऐसे रिलेशंस जो कि इन द नेचर ऑफ मैरिज हो और शेयर्ड हाउस होल्ड में रह रहे हों, उनको एक्नॉलेज किया गया है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑलरेडी कर चुका है. यहां पर रजिस्ट्रेशन की जरूरत सिर्फ 2 चीजों की वजह से है. पहली चीज रजिस्ट्रेशन की जरूरत कि कितने केसेस होते हैं जिसमें क्राइम होता है. दूसरी चीज, कितने केसेस ऐसे होते हैं जिसमें ब्लैकमेलिंग होती है. कितने केसेस, आप एनसीआरबी का डेटा उठा के देखिए कि कितने लिव इन के केसेस ऐसे हैं जिसमें जब पार्टनर्स की आपस में सहमति नहीं हुई तो लड़कों पर रेप का केस लगा दिया गया. और वो लोग, कितने केसेस ऐसे हैं कि लिव इन में रहे, लड़कों ने लड़कियों को छोड़ दी, वो प्रेग्नेंट हो गए, बच्चे हो गए, उन बच्चों का कोई जिम्मेदारी लेने वाला नहीं है. तो वो प्रोटेक्शन फॉर वुमेन, प्रोटेक्शन फॉर चाइल्ड born in live in relationship, और उसके अलावा सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज ये है कि एक ऐसा डॉक्यूमेंट जो उन लोगों के पास हो जो कि ये प्रूव कर सके कि दैट दे वर इन लिव इन रिलेशनशिप. दूसरी चीज, जो राइट टू प्राइवेसी की आपने बात करी, फिर से एक्ट को देखिएगा और उसमें डेटा एक्सेस का पूरा ब्यौरा लंबा दिया हुआ है। उस डेटा एक्सेस में साफ तौर पर है कि दिस रजिस्ट्रेशन जो भी डेटा है वो जस्ट ओनली फॉर रिकॉर्ड पर्पस के लिए, और वो मजिस्ट्रेट के पास रहेगा, किसी के पास नहीं। उसका एक्सेस ही नहीं है, आपकी इंफॉर्मेशन किसी के पास नहीं जाने वाली, पहली चीज। दूसरी चीज, आपने बात उठाई कि भाई आप लैंडलॉर्ड को आप बोल रहे हैं कि वो पनिश होगा अगर उसने दिया। हम लोगों ने बड़ा पूरे स्टेट में सर्वे किया, और जब ये कानून बना तो ये पब्लिक ओपिनियन के बेस पे बना है, और आज तक देश में कोई भी कानून ऐसा नहीं बना जो इतने मास पब्लिक कंसल्टेशन के बाद बना हो। यहां पर स्थिति क्या है? यहां स्थिति ये है कि अगर दो लड़के
ठीक है।
एक रूम में रहना चाह रहे हैं किसी पीजी में, तो उसके लिए लैंडलॉर्ड रेंट लेते हैं 25,000 रुपए महीना। अगर एक लड़का और लड़की रहना चाह रहे हैं उसके लिए रेंट लेते हैं 50,000 रुपए महीना। ऐसे पीजी हैं यहां पर, आप आइए मैं आपको दिखवा दूंगा। तो पहली चीज, और उत्तराखंड का पुलिस एक्ट है, पुलिस एक्ट कहता है कि आपका जो भी टेनेंट है उसका आप वेरिफिकेशन करेंगे। टेनेंट वेरिफिकेशन है, पूरा सिस्टम गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का बना हुआ है। वो टेनेंट कौन है? आके उत्तराखंड में एक केस हुआ, दो लोग आके
ठीक है।
रहे, लड़की की डेड बॉडी मिलती है और पता नहीं कौन थी। तो आप क्या चाहेंगे? गवर्नमेंट आप होता
ठीक
क्या
है।
है, जब कोई ऐसा इंसिडेंट हो
ठीक
जाता
है,
है तो
आई थिंक यू
गवर्नमेंट को
हैव पुट
सब
योर
ब्लेम
पॉइंट्स
करते हैं
फॉरवर्ड,
कि
यू हैव
गवर्नमेंट ने कुछ
डिफेंडेड।
नहीं किया, और गवर्नमेंट के पास कोई डिटेल देने के लिए तैयार नहीं है।
हम्म हम्म ठीक है, okay, you have defended the UCC and all the steps required for live-ins in Uttarakhand, but as I said, it's a subject open to debate. You don't want to be part of that debate. I appreciate it. That was your condition of coming, so I will respect and honor that condition. Mr. Gaur, thank you very much. Tehseen, you've
Thank
just
you.
heard Mr. Gaur. He's saying you are seeing this as regressive. You are seeing this as the government entering an individual's bedroom. You are seeing this as an infringement on your privacy, but it's actually to protect women who live in these relationships and children that may be born subsequently.
When you have nothing to say, you make a jalebi and you say the same thing using half-baked information or half-fried information, and you serve that jalebi. Yes, the DAV Act protects the women, so why the need for another law? The same DAV Act protects the child born out of a living in relationship. So then why another law? Now, he says relationships that come that two brother-sister cannot get married. So because two brother-sister cannot get married, I have to go to a religious priest to say I'm not brother-sister. I mean, can you imagine what they're talking about? And then hypothetically you can get married because you're not brother-sister. ऐसे नहीं ऐसे खाओ जलेबी. What are you talking? One is you think people are fools. One is you say it confidently and you believe everyone is a fool and you say whatever. Look, this is the government in your bedroom. It's very, very scary. And this is not only going to destroy the Uttarakhand economy, this is actually going to sort of, now we're heading towards what used to be the old Saudi Arabia, the present day Iranian regimes where you have moral policing. This is completely bizarre. If I'm 18 and the government wants my vote above 18, why does the government care who I'm living with? Number one, why should my parents be informed if I don't want them to inform? He says, oh, why do you take maintenance from your parents? Is that a legal act? My mother stopped giving me at 14, 15. I can take her to court. What? I mean, anything you come up with, this is just to make an argument sound coherent. What is the legal act for? You have to take maintenance from parents till 25. Is there some act like that? Anything you come up with and you see on TV. Now, most important and scary part, the magistrate has that. So the magistrate knows who's the different religion, who's different caste, and that data will obviously go out to the vigilante groups, which will come harass you, blackmail you. Now, answer simple question. He himself says, what if two boys are living? How do you know the two boys are not in a relationship? Two girls are living. How do you know the two girls are not in a relationship? No answer there. Say a boy and a girl are living platonically. They've come to Delhi from Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra. They're living platonically. Are they a live-in or not a live-in? And the Uttarakhand Police Act says you have to register your tenants. So register the tenants. What is that? Why does the police need to know if you are in a relationship? Okay, and what is a relationship? What if I'm in a relationship with somebody but I'm not having sex with her? Or two people are in a relationship but not having sex? What if they're not in a relationship but they're having sex? Have we asked these questions? Or this is a brainchild of somebody, it just comes up and then you say anything from anywhere and you come on national TV and say it confidently? What if two people are in a relationship and decide, listen, we want to preserve our virginity until marriage? And what if two people say we are in a situationship? We just want to have sex. We want to enjoy with each other, but we don't want to get in a relationship. We are not even in a relationship. Forget a marriage later on. We're just having a relationship which is physical. How is that defined? Who's defining that? How are they defining that? Anything they come up and say.
Lalitha Kumaramangalam, if you read the live-in part of the UCC in Uttarakhand, to me, the very fact that things have to be registered, it will go to the police if you are, if you are anywhere between 18 and 21, and then your parents will be told, and etc., etc. It just seems to me that you have just given, lower clerks and the lower bureaucracy in Uttarakhand a tool to harass live-in couples with. Isse acha to they could have got a law to say we are banning live-in relationships in Uttarakhand. That would have been easier.
Look, I think you're looking at it only from one point of view. This law has both its good and its bad points. The good thing about it is that given the increasing amount of violence in relationships between men and women, men and men, women and women, etc., and the number of complaints made to the police, sometimes without any proof, sometimes with proof, a law, a condition or law, I don't know if this has already been made into law, it was just, something that's been suggested, where the partner who is at risk, female or male is not the point, or any children who are in any such relationship or born out of that relationship, etc., are at risk, can be defended legally by the police is a good thing. Now, with regard to the age of live-in relationships, in India, we already have a law that says below the age of 21, marriage is illegal. And therefore, permission has to be sought from the parents. Insofar as the religious leader is concerned, I don't agree with that at all. Because in India, religion today, even today, is practiced very patriarchally. So I do not think that is necessary. One of the main reasons that is being given, I'm not saying that everything Tehseen is saying is wrong, but I mean, you want to have sex, that's not a live-in relationship. You can have sex anywhere. That's not the point. And it's nobody's business but between those two people. What happens often is that we find in too many relationships, I'm not saying most, less, all of that, in far too many relationships, it's the female member who gets, betrayed, let down, etc., left pregnant and all of that. India is still largely a very, very patriarchal society. You and I, people who've worked for many years on these issues, we know it. It's not good, but that's how it is. It's not how it should be, but that is how it is. Now, there are conditions or preconditions, I don't know what other word to use for that you suggest that this law has, or what may be made law has, which don't need to be there, and they should look at it again. Landlords, I have heard of landlords. I mean, we've had complaints. I've had to deal with complaints from landlords when I was in the NCW, where they said that, parents come in and find out in relationships and then people talk and this and that and my rent is going down. All sorts of these sort of things also occur. Live-in, not live-in is more or less up to the couple. After the age of 15, 16, children think they know everything. They want to do everything, whatever. There are those. There are who don't. Everybody is different. No, you can't paint everybody with the same brush. Here, my point is exactly this, that one of the reasons that this law, they say, has been brought in is to ensure not only the rights of the children who are born, and they have no rights otherwise, especially in terms of property maintenance and all the rest of it, but also cases where girls are being subjected to violence, whether economic, sexual, physical, etc. That is a good thing. But I don't think this religious, like I said it, I'm saying it again.
Give us the data.
Religious community, etc.
But give us the data.
Not necessary. Data has to be given. I'm sure the government has the data. I'm not the
give us the data. B, women are being subjected to cruelty even within marriages.
True.
Yes, and there is
but it is not outlawed.
But it is not outlawed. In fact, in Parliament,
listen, don't misquote me. I'm not saying this prevents it. I'm saying this law could be an opportunity or give, area for women who may be subject to this. some sort of access to protection.
ठीक है.
Or,
Okay, okay.
some sort of relief. I'm not saying it's going
But
to
that
prevent
access
it.
to, ma'am, but ma'am, as former NCW chairperson, ma'am, with due respect, as NCW chairperson, you know that law already exists that gives women that protection. In fact, your entire argument was sometimes too much. But leave that aside. The fact of the matter is, how does the government come in and decide on basis of gossip that some landlord is gossiping that my rent may go down because the parents have come? If the parents are coming to consenting adults' house, the parents are wrong and the police should get the parents.
Also, also the UCC rules, Ira Trivedi, just come in. The UCC rules even are allowing for people to tip off if a live-in couple is not registering to the police, etc., and then the registrar can take action against you, send you a notice. If you still don't register, you will have to go to jail. It's all in their manual. I'm not making this up. To you, is this about protecting women, as the Uttarakhand government is saying, and as Mr. Gaur came here and supported the UCC, or is it more about patriarchy? Is it more about saying, yaar, live in mat karo? Karoge to we'll make it very difficult for you. And God save you if you're an interfaith live-in couple.
It's hugely patriarchal. It's hugely patriarchal. It is hugely regressive. It is hugely right-wing, and it is also hugely against the fabric of democracy that our nation is really, really proud to display to every other nation in this world. We have been doing such a beautiful job as a country in bringing the cause of women forward, of quashing patriarchy, of, all of our recent laws have been very, very, have been very progressive in this entire field, whether it's with homosexuality, whether it's with transgender, whether it's with marriage. So it's really a shocker to suddenly see all of this happening, especially with live-in relationships. Also, I must remind everyone that divorce rates are skyrocketing across the country. There is so much problem in modern day marriage, especially arranged marriages. I've written an entire book on this, so I know the numbers. And it's not that these divorces are happening in love marriages. Oftentimes, it's arranged marriages, actually more often than not. So I actually am all for live-in relationships because it helps two individuals decide whether this is for them or not. There are less nasty surprises, let me say, less nasty surprises when two people are living together. So in fact, I encourage it. I encourage this, saying that young people should get a chance to know each other, say it's right for them before there's a lot of money wasted on the wedding. That's a big problem, huge amounts of expenditure. Then comes the divorce, which is a huge amount of mental strife. It is a huge amount of, again, expenditure, a huge amount of conflict. So rather than getting into all of this, even the concept of a live-in relationship is very progressive. It is very modern. If you see nations across the world and people across the world, especially the youth, they are going in for this. So to do all of this is very regressive in modern times. As a young person, I can
Ira, so you're telling us that the government
should... my husband before I married him. And this was one of the best decisions that I made.
So you're essentially saying that government should be actually encouraging live-in relationships because that will save us a lot of mental trauma and hassle and money rather than making it very difficult. Yeah, rather than making it very difficult to live in. Okay, we'll leave it there. You make a point and you make a very valid point. I'm not sure Indian parents will agree with you though. And the Uttarakhand government certainly doesn't agree with you, and the Rajasthan government also now doesn't agree with you. We'll leave it there. Ira Trivedi, thank you very much for joining us. Lalitha ji, good to have you on the show. Manu Gaur was with us. I'm thanking him, and thank you to Tehseen as well for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, a quick break. There's more on the other side. Do stay with us.